That's exactly who I was. And when I got sober, when you remove the alcohol, when you remove the drugs, when you remove all the fucking band-aids, the temporary vices that weak-ass motherfuckers, because I was a weak-ass motherfucker who was too fucking afraid to feel little fucking broken heart feelings, that I ran like a motherfucker. When you remove the alcohol, that's really all you're dealing with. And I was broken. I was weak. And I was like a little pussy. Like, I'm so scared of my little feelings. Like, I'm going to run. Like, that's really how I look at it now. Like, now it's not a big deal. And I'm like, what? Bring it on. Like, oh, you broke my heart. Big fucking deal. I'm going to go cry now. I'm going to go cry about it. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to go heal. I'm going to pray. And I'm going to move on. You know what I mean? Like, nobody gave me the tools. I didn't, nobody.
A system to overcome that.
Yeah, no one gave me like a toolbox on life. I was taught, you don't speak up. We don't communicate. We don't talk about our feelings. And the few times I did, like the next morning after my dad would beat my mom's ass and her face would be bruised and he'd be like, what happened? Because he'd be in a blackout.
That's nuts.
And I'd be like, you fucking fucker. You fucking did that to my mom. I fucking hate you. Like, I went at it. My mom never spoke up either. But there was times too, like, and then, yeah. So I spoke up as much as I could. I normally didn't. But when I did, I'd be like, no, fuck you. I didn't have any tools. Like, nobody taught me anything. So when I got sober and you get a sponsor and, you have somebody else that explains this to you, like, you get to communicate, people listen. I'm like, no one listened to me my whole life. I don't talk because no one ever listened to me. And I got to go back and I got to rewrite my story. I got to rewrite the meaning that I gave to those events.
Because the meaning's yours.
Yeah, because my dad, gave the event like, no man's ever going to love me. I'm unlovable. No man's ever going to listen to me. No man's ever going to protect me. No man's ever going to lead me or guide me. And then with my husband, same thing. I'm not good enough to love. I'm not good enough to be wanted by one guy. I'm not sexy enough. I'm not pretty enough. Like, there was just so many, limiting beliefs behind those events. So when I went to go back and say, no, these people were ill. They had a sickness. It had nothing to do with me.
Yep.
I really got to go back to the 16-year-old Deanne. I used to go to Bible study and I used to lead my, like a young girl's Bible study. I went to youth group. Like, I was like a born again Christian and like I was so into God. And when I got pregnant, the church kicked me out.
Oh, wow.
And when that happened, I was like, well, fuck you, motherfuckers. I never prayed ever again, from throughout my entire marriage, even up until our divorce. And not until, I think we were like, it was 6 months into sobriety. And it was one evening that I was on my couch. And mind you, I had panic attacks. I hadn't gone to work. I was completely broke. I was eating tuna cans. Like, that was my lunch. Like, I had no money for anything. And my daughter was in the back room. And I was sitting there. And there was just like, I was so frustrated that I couldn't control anything. And there was an event and a moment and a circumstance where all of a sudden, like, I'm just looking forward and I'm just having like these like horrible thoughts. And there's these like black, like shadow, like claws coming over me and like literally engulfing me. And over it, there's like a demon's face. And it's coming over me this way and it's like pushing me down. So all the room, mind you, my eyes are open. I'm sober, ain't I? I'm not a coke. Like, I'm not on a good one. And all of a sudden, I'm just sitting here. All the lights in the room go black. And this demon's in front of me. And everything's black in the room. I could kind of breathe. And all I keep hearing is, kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself. And the voice was fucking loud. And there's like almost like a little cartoon. Like, I guess kind of how, like, I was this little, like, I was like this little, like, in a dark fucking like cavern or something. And I could hear these echoes, kill yourself. Like, that's all I could see. I wasn't in the room anymore. I couldn't see light or anything. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, I don't really understand. And I was like, what do I do? Like, should I try to go grab the cell? Like, do I grab the phone and call 911 and say, like, I don't know, like somebody needs to come get me? Do I call my mom? Like, I can't call baby daddy because like he's just a narcissist, so he's not even gonna be like, yeah, you should do it. You know what I mean? And I was literally like in there, and the voice was getting louder and louder and louder, and I was like this little, and all I was like I was literally like, I'm gonna die, like I'm gonna die. And in that moment, I was so desperate, like I had no control here. It was the first time I ever said, God, I fucking need you. I swear I was so scared I was going to take my life. The voice was so fucking loud. And I knew I was going to win. And I just had to say, God, like, I'm not going to make it. I knew I wasn't. And then that second I said, God, I was back in the room, and I literally was like, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And I just started crying. I dropped on the ground. I put my arms up and I said, I can't do this without you, God. And from that moment on, like everything just went, just skyrocketed in my life. Like everything in that moment. Fuck. I'll never forget that. It was a fucking scary ass fucking demon. That motherfucker he was in my head. And fast forward, I ended up stripping. So my ex-husband, he's always cheat on me with strippers and porn stars. And mind you, I was like a born again Christian. I was a virgin when I met him. Like he's the only man I ever slept with. Like I was just the most naive, gullible victim, perfect victim for him. So when things got out of it, I was like, when I'm out of here, I'm like, I'm going to go fucking strip at that motherfucking strip club with all those bitches. Like, I'm going to be on this motherfucking stage. So I walked straight into the club. Mind you, never had a job in my life other than Pocahontas. That's the only job I had in my life.
You went from Pocahontas to stripping. That's a big.
I walked straight in. During the thing, and I remember, and I hadn't drink either. I never drank because my dad drank, and I said, I don't ever want to fucking be like my dad. I think I was maybe like 23. I walked straight up to the bartender and I said, I don't drink. I don't even know what to drink. I'm about to get on that stage and audition. And I said, I just need something sweet. So I don't know what he gave me. I downed the whole drink and literally went on stage, and I put Santana Black Magic Woman on. And back then, back 20 years ago, the strip club, it was just one girl on one stage. And the strip clubs back then were like jam packed with people, and people had money back then. And it'd be like a whole show, like the lights turned down, and then it was like, got a black magic woman. And I remember just getting on stage and just fucking letting loose. And there was like my first time ever making my own money too. And there was money being thrown at me, and I was like, that's a lot of fucking money. And I thought, because I didn't have a car, he controlled everything. I was so controlled financially. We'd have big old fights, and he'd be like, you can't fucking leave me. I pay for all your shit, bitch. And I'd be like, So I remember like in that moment, I saw like freedom. Like I get to leave him. There's men here. They like me. I feel lovable. I'm getting attention, and I'm getting fucking paid for it. So hence the drinking, obviously, boom, ended up getting into porn. Got into porn. And porn was, I want to say, was like my kind of way out of everything. I didn't get into porn until I was 32. This is way after him, way after, he was like, what's your husband think? And I'm like, dude, we were like 10 years divorced by that time. Like, he didn't have a say-so on anything. Got into the adult industry. And the adult industry is actually what gave me balls. I grew some balls. I learned to speak up. I learned for the first time, like, I have fucking power as a woman. Do you know what I mean? Because for so long, I was just quiet and I played small. But becoming Kiara Mia, like becoming in the public eye. And, you know, in porn, like you got to set motherfucking boundaries. Otherwise the director's going to try to fuck you. The videographers are going to try to fuck you. The audio people, like, and then I ended up becoming such a huge name. You know, when you walk into rooms, people are like, oh, do. So it was the first time I learned I have power.